Hello. Woo, honey. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. Hello. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug, and you've just tuned into the Business Plugs Mixer. Thank you for joining me here each Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so we can have business conversations with business people. And so I am so excited. Y'all, I've been talking about this all week. She's coming, except all nervous. Look, and I know she's been looking at my video, Oh, my intro is coming on. I'm thinking, oh Lord, she's an editor. Oh God. But you're gonna love her like I love her. And before I get to introducing her, I want to tell you about two things I have coming up. You know, I have to do the housekeeping. So the first thing is if you are a business entrepreneur, business owner, you're anywhere in the world with internet access, then I have a First Friday meetup on Eventbrite. You get the ticket, you're going to get the Zoom link. It's a free event. We meet up for an hour and a half, and we're going to talk about business, have business conversations, have business gains, help your business next level. You are invited to join me. Get your ticket off Eventbrite, and I'll make sure I bring it back into this before we're over. And the second thing I want to tell you about is I am trying to help women 50 and over who have ambitions. You already have a skill set. You already have things you want to do in life. And you're trying to think about how can I monetize these skills I already have? Well, guess what? We're monetizing skills. That class is an evening class. It starts Saturday on November 4th. It's an online class. It goes for 8 weeks, teaching you how to take your existing skill sets and monetize them so that you can create extra income, because the statistics say that we're going to have some type of disruption in our income. So that's what that is. Now, with all that said and done, I would like to introduce to you all my media coach, TeeJ. Hey, TeeJ.
Hi, Pumpkin. It is so good to be here. And I am just tickled. I wasn't even looking at your intro because you just taught me something in the background that I can go live to simultaneously. So I'm furiously typing to go live on my pages. So I wasn't even looking. So I don't know what it was. And knowing you, I am sure that it was absolutely wonderful.
Over the top, probably too much. I said, "Oh Lord!" I thought if it started playing, I thought, "Oh Lord, that's right, she's an editor." But I want to introduce you to the people who follow me around the world. They are everywhere. And like I said, I have been talking. Hey there, Adria Harrison. Hey, Adria. So, I've been following her since I met her at
Okay.
your event in Atlanta.
Okay. Andrea is the absolute best. She just had an amazing conference yesterday. And so I'm looking at her here and I'm in the background texting her, girl, go rest, get off of me. She just did an all-day event yesterday.
I love it. I love her. I told her, I said, I've been like low key stalking you since the first day I met you.
Andrea is the epitome of a person that just operates in such excellence and perseverance and persistence. And she's a loyal, supportive friend who slings bling for a living. Matter of fact, now if I'd known look, Linda, if I'd known she was gonna be here, I would have made sure I put on some paparazzi because she be stressing me out. Like, oh my God, okay, so Andrew's gonna be there, so I gotta make sure I'm wearing something with paparazzi. So
I love it. And she's like, that's what I do, but I do this. And I'm like, and you're this whole genius over here.
Right.
So I
She's
can
a
even imagine
powerhouse
what that
in her
is.
own lane. She's definitely a powerhouse in her own lane.
Yes, she is. I would definitely second that. I would second that. Absolutely. So thank you all for joining us this evening. So TeeJ, the people I know may not know you.
Okay.
But you and I met because Patrice Washington. Patrice said, you need to go see my media coach. And that's how we met. So she referred me to you. And she said, whatever she's doing, get on board. And me being the obedient mentee said, okay, I'll do it. And so that's how I ended up at that event in Atlanta because
Oh,
Patrice said, whatever she's
wow.
doing, do it. And whatever she says,
Patrice over here in TeeJ land. We love Patrice. She is another powerhouse that God has placed in my life for me to walk with, and her walk along beside me. And she has definitely taught me so much just watching her faith journey, her miracle journey. So it's been amazing. But before we go further, I just realized this cute dress you got on, girl. Like, I can't tell if it's a dress or a blouse.
It's a dress.
It's cute. Oh my God. You better hope I never come to Chattanooga, because I'm coming with, because I steal, especially from my mama.
I know that's your mama.
Yeah, I steal. And so that would be a dress that I would actually be like faking that I'm interested in everything you got to say, but my thoughts and mission is for me to grab that dress. It is cute and it looks great on you.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate it. I love this. I always look to see, first thing, I look to see what kind of glasses you have on. Like, I've always, ever since those red glasses, Adrian said, yeah, she's a thief. I know. I know. I told you how her mama be when she comes.
Yes.
And Miss Wanda said, yes, that's exactly how it
is. And it's not my fault she raised the thief. So there you go. She has to take some responsibility.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. But yeah, so tell them about who TeeJ is.
Oh, TeeJ Mercer. Who is she? She is an audacious Jesus freak who, as Andrea says, I walk around and collect people and somehow convince them to take these miracle adventures with me for as a force for good. But what pays the bills is I was a TV editor and producer in Hollywood for about 25 years, over 25 years, actually. I worked on everything from Extra to The Tonight Show to My Cat from Hell, The Bachelor, Shrek, Chronicles of Narnia, The Incredibles, Cars. Pretty much I've been fortunate enough, and God led me through a career that I've touched pretty much every genre of television. And then from there, I ended up how we met. I started launching a media coaching program where I teach you how to book yourself in the media without a publicist, without being a celebrity. And that's called Media Mavericks Academy. Yeah. And God started pulling me out of Hollywood full time. And I started doing Media Mavericks. But then when the pandemic hit, I had just moved to Atlanta. And because I'm a graduate of the Howard University,
Look, I love that.
I really have a love for all things HBCU, historically Black colleges and universities. And so as a result of that, we started Move-In Day Mafia.org, which I call us a mob of volunteers who descend upon HBCUs to provide dorm room makeovers and ongoing support for those students who have aged out of foster care or are homeless, or they're grappling with financial hardships, but pretty much foster care and are homeless. And that led to so many miracles in my life, as you've watched, Linda. God, every time I turn around, I was posting about another miracle he'd done. And just a week and a half ago, he led me to create this organization or this collective, if you will, that is called the League of Extraordinary Waterwalkers. And Waterwalkers is based on Peter walking on water. And I'm building this community, this tribe, this massive, what I know God is going to bless and be a massive organization of people who the only requirement is to believe in miracles, really. That really is. But the second minor requirement is to be okay with it being a biblically based foundation. You don't have to be a Christian, but you got to be okay with it, because that's where our principles come from. And so we just launched that. Our first meeting was last Tuesday, and it has just been a blessing to watch God move in my life and be used in a way. My motto, as you know, is I want to be a sap. somebody's
Yep.
answered prayer.
Yep.
And the way I get to do that is to really love on God's kids and participate and receive miracles. So
Absolutely.
that's TeeJ.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so let's unpack that, because that's a lot. So
Yeah.
let's unpack that, because first of all, the Move-In Day Mafia, that whole thing right there, people don't know. Like, people don't know what happens to 70% of kids who age out of foster care.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
So what happened, what I learned, and I didn't, what happened of how Mafia got started, Linda, is when the pandemic broke out, a team, once again, I collect people. So I convinced some people to get on board with me, and we created a virtual bingo game that was specifically to celebrate the 2020 grads of HBCUs, because they had just lost their graduations. And so in less than 4 weeks, God showed me how to raise over $1 million in cash and prizes, and we gave it away in a series of epic bingo games for these grads. Fast forward, I met a young lady who told me that as a child who had aged out of foster care, when she got accepted to her HBCU, her social worker drove her to campus, pulled up to the curb, let her unload what little she had, and then just bounced and left her. And until then, Linda, I had never considered that population. I didn't know anything about that population because that wasn't my experience at the Howard University. That wasn't, I forgot to tell them, I am a loud, proud, and insufferable, obnoxious graduate of the Howard University. And so I had never experienced that. So I had to do my homework. And what I learned is that 70% of children in foster care dream of going to college, yet only 3% actually go. And of that 3%, only 1% graduate. And so I have taken it on as my life's mission to increase that percentage. And they're not going, and what I also had to learn, what was kind of disturbing, Linda, is that they're not going because they end up going to prison. They do things so that they could survive. For example, young ladies intentionally get pregnant. Why? Because the minute they get pregnant, it's triggering another level of social services so that they get a roof over their heads. We don't want that to be a necessity of survival. Right. So we want to make sure we do our part as the Mafia to take care of these students. And so we don't just move them in, first, but we provide everything that they need. Our rooms are designed by celebrity interior designer Nikki Klug. She designed all the rooms. We provide toilet paper, detergent, toothpaste, all of their needs on Move-In Day. But then we are also walking with them for 4 years as they actually matriculate, because our mission is to get them to graduation. So we need money. We need help.
I heard you. Yeah.
Because if you've ever put a child through college, that gets expensive. And so for us, we don't want them having to work 2 or 3 jobs to go buy some deodorant. We want them to have their full college experience. And so that's what we are committed to in Move-In Day Mafia.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing is because, I did put a chat. Well, my youngest one is a college graduate locally. And I can't even imagine what would happen if he went somewhere else, right? And the cost of out of state and all the different things they make you pay for when you're in college, right? Because so I cannot imagine what that would be like for him. Yeah. If I wasn't here to be the cushion for him.
Exactly. And these babies don't have cushions. You described it perfectly. They don't have cushions. Everything that they do, they pretty much have to work for and get on their own. And so Move-In Day Mafia is positioned to be the cushion.
Yeah. And so when these kids, you tell of a story of one of the young ladies who they drove up and just dropped her off.
Yeah, so that's just the amazing thing about God. So Move-In Day Mafia was inspired by this student who told me that's what happened to her. And that put me into position to actually move forward with Mafia. And then this round, we're only in our second round of Mafia. So we're just a little over a year old. So last year we moved in 13 scholars at Paul Quinn College in Dallas. This year we moved in 31 scholars at 5 HBCUs,
Wow.
Paul Quinn, Prairie View, Howard, Morgan State, and Fisk University.
Amazing.
And so at our Morgan State team, the head Kristen Young, who headed up that team, actually called me and told me that we had a scholar that came all the way from Los Angeles, had been in foster care her entire life, and she was choosing to leave the little protections that California provided this population in pursuit of an education, specifically at an HBCU. When she got there, her social worker pulled up to the school, told my team, well, I don't have to go in, Dua, and was willing to leave this baby to her own devices. But this time, Move-In Day Mafia was in position to catch her. And so that made me so, I'm a crybaby anyway. So that made me so emotional.
I'm sure.
Did you say TeeJ Mercer for president free? Are you sick? Girl, please. That made me so emotional because I was able to see the manifestation of why we created Mafia, because of the generosity of our donors and the generosity of our volunteers. This baby did not come across the country and kick off her education by herself.
I love that. I love that that's a success story, like that you're actually boots on the ground, right?
We're boots on the ground.
And boots, and not in your backyard. Like you're flying all over this country to get to these different colleges so that you can welcome these kids to their move-in days.
Yes.
But I didn't know. I had a client once and she was in California and she wanted to hire the guys to do some type of upgrades in seniors' homes for safety. And that was going to generate income because she had been housing young men when they age out of foster care. She was just taking them in. And so she was trying to find some way of generating income for them so that they could have, a life.
It definitely takes a village. And when these students age out at 18, many of them automatically become homeless. So
and at
for
18,
them,
you don't have anything.
You don't have a clue.
You have no idea what to do with life.
No, you have no idea. And so that's why it's important for us with our scholars. They are persistent and tenacious enough to pursue their education. So we want to come along beside them and partner with them because the odds and the deck are already stacked against them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think it's a magnificent work. And when I met her 2 years ago, like I really wanted to support her every way I could. And I helped her put a grant together so that she could go after monies to help her do what she was doing, because it was a marvelous thing. Yeah. And then I got sick and things fell apart, right?
Yeah.
But this time I thought, oh Lord, I get to do something this time. And so that's why I said, are you available? Can you come on? Because I want people to understand that it was like shocking to me to learn that once they age out, they literally age out. And
they age out. Now, some states, in all fairness, some states, carry them to 21 and put them in transitional homes. But I remember maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, Pastor Jamal Bryant, who pastors New Birth Church here in Atlanta, he shared this video and it went viral of a young lady who was being interviewed. I'm not sure who the interviewer, Pastor Bryant had just stumbled across this video, and it was her 18th birthday, and her parents who adopted her drove her to a shelter on her 18th birthday and said, "See you later." On her 18th birthday, she was dropped off at a homeless shelter. And that thing went viral. And to my knowledge, I did see an update video, excuse me, where Pastor Bryant provided or facilitated full scholarships at an HBCU for her and her brother to go to college. But can you imagine on your 18th birthday, you were suddenly just dropped off at a homeless shelter?
Yeah.
Just sit with that. Like at 18 is your birthday where you're supposed to be celebrating and any birthday, but you're 18. It's like you grown, but when you got loving parents, it's like I'm grown, but I still can get my mama to fix me a bologna sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. But
And
at 18, kids start thinking, I'm grown anyway. I'm 18. I can vote. But there's so much you can't do, honey, till you're 21.
There's so much. And so this baby all of a sudden is just thrown to the streets to figure out and fend for herself. Yeah. And so just think about, there's thousands of kids that are faced with that on their 18th birthday. And
absolutely.
I can't help, the thousands just yet, but I can start with the community that I know I was assigned to. And it was this particular population. And that's why I encourage everyone, like the word says, do not despise small beginnings. Yes, I know Move-In Day Mafia will be this massive organization, just like right before you and I got together tonight. I stood at the kitchen and I said, God, I want Move-In Day Mafia to be celebrating its 100-year anniversary and with all the good that we do. I want it to be generationally lasting and impactful. But right now I'm starting in my apartment with a team of volunteers, and I'm good with that. And so my encouragement to any of the business owners who are, listening, have the $1 million, $2 million, $15 million a month vision. Yeah. But make sure you stay grounded and be grateful at the $1 a month. We have donors, we have repeat donors, and it always warms my heart, Linda. We have repeat donors that have donated. They're committed and set up automatic payments of $4 a month. I celebrate that as much as I celebrate the donors who are coming with their $1,700 of just taking care of whole students move in, because at that $4, I know then it must be some kind of sacrifice. Yeah, but it's a sacrifice for a cause that they are apparently believing in. So just make sure as you go on upon your journey, keep the big vision, but make sure you celebrate. Like I told my water walkers Tuesday, their assignment for the week is to keep the big vision, but make sure you be on the hunt for the little miracles that God is going to do in the week, and make sure you celebrate that.
Absolutely. I posted the other day or earlier today that all forward moves count, right? Regardless of their size. And sometimes people want the big, everybody wants the big and the millions and the whatever. But when you look at, you came with an idea during COVID, because I got to sit in on some of the bingos, right? You came in with an idea during COVID to keep HBCU students entertained, but also help them to get access to resources during the pandemic. And now it's blown into this bigger vision. And then let's talk about those partners, honey.
Oh, baby. You talk about my miracle journey with my partners.
Yes. Let's talk about your partners, honey.
So my partners, 10 years ago, long before any of this was on my radar, Samsung is my favorite brand. Best Buy is my favorite store. And with my partners, I started using the hashtag all the time. Samsung is my sponsor. They just don't know it yet. or I'd use the hashtag Best Buy as my sponsor. They just don't know it yet. This is before I knew what I wanted them to partner with. And, you know, people will tell me like, well, you're not putting yourself in position because you're not even tagging them. I knew, see, I'm a surprise girl. God knows he wired me to love his surprises. And so I knew when it happened, I wanted it to be in such a way that I could say only God did this. Because it was no strategy. It was no, you know, we're going to post and tag for. I didn't have a clue what I wanted them to sponsor. Lo and behold, and I tell people all the time, this is the one area that my faith never wavered. I didn't know when it was coming. I knew it was coming in God's timing. And so I am tickled pink to say about 2-3 weeks before we headed out for this round of Move-In Day Mafia, I got the call that Best Buy was giving us $10,000. I sat there in my Chase lounge stunned. Like it, because when you want something so badly and you've been praying for it consistently, I didn't know what I was supposed to do, Linda, in response to it. It's here now. I just sat there like, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to. Do you want me to scream? Do you want me? But, you know, I'm here by myself. Do you want me to scream? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, I got to go check to make sure it's still real. Did I really, after 10 years of this? And so then in the midst of all of that, Linda, I'm sitting on the edge of my beautiful Chase lounge, just frozen solid. And I was like, well, call your mama and tell her, at least just do that. I called my mama. My mama answered, and I calmly said, Ma, I just got notification that Best Buy is giving us a $10,000. And she goes, wow, babe. And I was just like, yeah. She was like, are you okay? And by that time, I just sobbed. Like it was that what Oprah used to call the ugly cry.
Yeah, the ugly cry.
Yeah, I was hyperventilating because I guess maybe it didn't seem real until I was able to share it with someone I loved. So I didn't know what to do. So I hung up from my mama, Linda. And then I'm texting one of my good friends, is Sherry Shepherd. So I sent her a text. No, I called her. No. I called her. She didn't answer. And so by that time, I'm just kind of sitting there. And then she calls back. And I'm calling her and I'm excited and telling her. And she calls me by my government name, Tawan. And so she's going, Tawan, girl, Tawan, God just be Tawan. And she was like, well, I was going to call you anyway. And she says it just so calmly and so nonchalantly. And she goes, well, I was going to call you and tell you that I just accepted the invitation to play Celebrity Jeopardy. And I'm going to play for Move-In Day Mafia. Now, I forgot to tell you the part of me sitting down in the Chase Lounge trying to process it. And the Holy Spirit actually tells me there's more coming. I forgot that part. So by the time I get to Sherry Shepherd and I'm going, and then that's when I just lost it. I was like, God, I don't need you to do nothing else today because I can't handle it. I've already screamed. And I was just yelling. I did Two Funny Mamas, her podcast with Kim Whitley on Thursday.
I saw that, yeah.
Okay, so I did Two Funny. So you heard me say, like, I was on the toilet. I jumped off the toilet screaming, like, you have got to be kidding me. And I was like, and you saying it like you just told me you were going to the grocery store. And so as a result of that, we got $30,000. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm moving in our scholars at Paul Quinn. On the way that morning to the school, I get a call from Samsung telling me that they are now going to be one of our partners. I cried, screamed. I didn't have a voice for the rest of that day because I had screamed so loud because 10 years.
I tell
10 years.
I get it. I get it.
10 years
I get it.
of
Absolutely.
believing something that I wasn't even in strategy doing. 10 years.
I
And
get
here
it.
goes God saying, I'm gonna do it. I'm a see. I told my therapist the other day. I was like, I imagine God and Peter and my dad and my granddad, my grandmothers. I imagine them. I know it's not biblically true, but my imagination of a storyteller is like, I just imagine them sitting around heaven going, okay, we get ready. TJ get ready to make that call. She gonna act a fool, y'all. Come on, let's watch. Y'all know we love. She like watching good TV because anytime we surprise her, and so sometimes I tell God like, I can't handle your surprises today. I got a lot of work to do, and if you send me some surprises, I ain't gonna get nothing done. And so I knew though, and what I learned from that experience, Linda, and I'm getting ready to start. I'm gonna teach this in the coming weeks in League of Extraordinary Waterwalkers. It's not the size of your faith. The word says we just need to have mustard seed size, and we can move a mountain. It's
Absolutely.
not the size. What God started impressing upon me is, TJ, can you have long faith? How long is your faith? And I said to them last week, I said, what if your suddenly takes 10 years to show up? Because technology hasn't been created, or people are not in position for your yes.
Ready. Yeah.
And so can you endure those years of your business being in the red? Can you endure that you're draining your own bank accounts to make sure your team is fed? Can you endure that last launch that didn't go well? Can you endure you can't pay for the services that you need, so you got to figure out how to actually make good enough be good enough for you to move? Can you endure and have long faith through that season?
Absolutely.
That's what it takes. And I'm coming from a place of, I'm not telling you theories. I'm telling you what I've had to walk through. And
reality. Absolutely.
When you're listening to me talk about Samsung and Best Buy, you got to make sure that you don't forget the part of the story where I'm actually 4 months behind on my mortgage. You've got to make sure you hear part of the story where I couldn't afford to pay my own team. So for a while, I had to be a solo entrepreneur. You got to listen to that part of the story when I did a whole launch and didn't sell one program. Make sure you don't look at the end of my story of celebration and skip over the whole mountains and valleys I had to go through because my suddenly took 10 years to manifest. Absolutely. I'm sorry, Linda. I wasn't supposed to.
No, that's okay. No.
Place, but it's important to me that people who come into my orbit, who know I walk in miracles, but have to realize these miracles only happen because I was willing to have my back up against the wall. My knuckles are in the dirt. We want the miracles, but we don't want to have to walk through the devastation that requires the miracles in the first place. Come on. You told me I could talk about my faith.
Come on and get it.
You told me.
Absolutely. Because they used to it. The ones who know me, they used to it. I will do it, honey. I have post after post after post after post talking about this drill because it is not for the faint at heart. It is not for the people who are indecisive. It is not for the people who feel like, okay, I'm in today, but I'm out tomorrow. Okay, if it don't work out, then I got to go. It's not for those people. My business is 10 years old, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you know what it looks like to go through hills, valleys, floods, mountains. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I know what it looks like to decide, okay, do I pay the mortgage or do I buy this for the business? Like, what am I doing?
Girl, if you haven't been put in a sense, I remember this woman named Linda Hollander. I'll never forget how she set me free. She was like, if you hadn't had had to file bankruptcy or at least had all of your credit cards maxed out, are you really building a business? And I was just like, yo, so there are people like me? Like, yo, really? When I have to decide, am I going to be late on my mortgage this month because I really need to put that money in business, or when my credit is 472? So let me encourage anybody who's listening, and that's your season, baby, hang in there. You got to have long faith.
You got to have long faith, because the thing you know, I don't even look at the credit score anymore, because I know that Favor doesn't need a credit score.
Come on now.
Favor doesn't need a credit score. Like, you can get blessed with a 300.
Yep. You can be given a multi-million-dollar building,
baby.
Just give it, just for the sake of God told him to do it.
Yeah, because I tell people all the time that your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't even entered.
Yep, didn't even know the rooms existed. That's my situation.
People will say,
I didn't know the room existed.
I was talking to so-and-so. Talking to so-and-so, and they told me to call you.
That's what happened recently with the University of Minnesota. A follower of mine, and let me go back to piggyback on that. The person that walked me into Best Buy and the person that walked me into Samsung were people that I didn't even know they had connections to these companies. I didn't know that they actually worked in these companies. They were Facebook friends of mine who followed the journey of hashtag Samsung is my sponsor. They just don't know it yet. Hashtag Best Buy is my sponsor. I had, with the Best Buy situation, I had no idea that this baby worked at Best Buy corporate until she came and told me that she had pitched Move-In Day Mafia. All this time of talking and engaging with her, had no clue that for almost 2 years, she had been behind the scenes on our behalf, talking about Move-In Day Mafia. Absolutely. What is the lesson in that? Sometimes I know that you have to move in silence and in secret. I get it. But other times you got to be real loud about your dream, because a closed mouth don't get fed. I didn't worked corporate a day in my life. And so I knew if Samsung and Best Buy were coming to the table, it couldn't be through me. It had to be somebody connected to me, because I make pretty pictures of television for a living. I don't work in corporate. I go to work in basically my pajamas. I didn't own a pair of 2-inch black pumps with a skirt that is 1 inch above the knee or below the, like, I didn't have a corporate uniform. I knew nothing about corporate. So I had to be loud about my dream. Yeah. I had to put it out there so that people know, okay. And so my Samsung person came to me and she said, TeeJ, you have helped so many people fulfill their dreams. My prayer is I can help you fulfill yours. That's how Samsung got on board. That's how it started.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Because, and that's the thing, when you talk about you putting it out there, because I am always saying to people, my followers, don't move in silence. Tell somebody. Like, there's this whole, movement, move in silence. Don't tell them what you're doing. Move this and move that. But again, a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Yeah. And you have to exercise wisdom and make sure you're moving in silence because of wisdom, not because of fear of being shot down or laughed at for your dream. Absolutely. There's a difference. Absolutely. You've gotta determine, am I moving in silence because this is something proprietary, or I need to protect my intellectual property? I get that. But if you're moving in silence because you are just afraid somebody's going to laugh at you, that you don't have no corporate experience, but you somehow going to get on the radar of a multi-billion-dollar company like Samsung, then you better exercise your mouth and your faith in your God of him to be able to do it and tell somebody.
That's what I'm saying, because the thing about it is the person that I help business all the time. I help small businesses go from idea to implementation. And I'm always thrown off by is they won't share with somebody on their level because they don't want them to steal their idea, right?
Mhm.
And I even a business owner just the other day said, you know what? People coming to me wanting to know what I do if I'll teach them, and I'll be like, no, because I'm not. They're gonna be my competitor. And I said that's that poverty mindset because us
Mhm.
people over here on this other side, we know we can't serve all 8 billion of these people, and somebody
Mhm.
else going to do it. Let somebody else do it. And so you help them. You become a resource because everything you put out there is what comes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so teaching them that part, teaching them that to get away from the poverty mindset, because they will not share it for fear somebody will take it, but then they'll go talk to somebody in hopes of getting money who can actually afford to implement it
Yep.
without an NDA,
Yep.
right? Make it make sense. So
Yeah.
teaching people when to have conversations and who to have conversations and how to have those conversations. Not trying to give your baby away, not trying to get anybody to come and get, what exactly
Mhm.
whatever earmarked for you, that's knocked down. Nobody gonna bother that.
Right.
Like 10 years ago, God knew Samsung was coming.
And both of my one of my not both, but one of my benefactors, no, both of them. So my benefactor at Best Buy wasn't even working at Best Buy. And that's why I said earlier, technology hasn't been created, or the people have not been have been put in position that will give you the yes. So that's why
Yeah.
you suddenly it's taken a long time. And so my Best Buy person wasn't even working at Samsung. One of the people that was instrumental for navigating me through Samsung wasn't even working there either.
See.
It took them, they had been, they both, if a memory serves me correctly, I started Move-In Day Mafia when they started at Best Buy and Samsung.
Mm.
So we both were moving into our purpose and our position
Positioning.
while I still was having faith. That's why it's like I just knew, like, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I know you coming through. I have no clue on the how. None.
I can't be worried with it. That's not my
Ain't my business.
that's not my worry.
Yeah.
It is not your, and that's the thing is you can't ask for the blessing and then say, but I need you to give it to me like this in this kind of box with a blue bow on it, please.
Yeah.
That's not your position. That's not your
Yeah.
position. Your position is to ask in faith and believe you will receive it.
And
And
that's exactly what I do. That's exactly. And to your point about, I want to share something that I'm in the midst of right now. You ask, and then you have an expectation of how it should be answered. So I wrote about this on Facebook the other day that being a TV producer, I had an idea about 10, no, maybe 15 years ago. It was about 15 years, an idea for a TV show that never, I didn't go anywhere with it. And so either Monday or this past Tuesday, I was in my prayer closet and I was asking God about this, TV idea. And it was a nonchalant kind of thing, didn't put no stock in it really. And was just like, I wonder if you're going to ever let me do this. So I come out of the prayer closet and I get a phone call from a school district, an elementary school, asking, me, did I have anything in my media skills that I could teach elementary students? And so my first initial knee-jerk reaction was no, because elementary, that's a whole other ball game.
yeah, I heard you.
And I'm like, and I felt like it could be a distraction of what I'm doing with Mafia and what I'm doing with the League of Extraordinary Waterwalkers. So I was like, I don't know. And I told him, like, I got to think about it because I haven't created anything. And they gave me, kind of an idea what they wanted. And I was like, yeah, I haven't done that before, which means I've got to go create that. So I'm not just sure if this is a good timing. And so in the meantime, I hung up from them and ended up talking to my therapist. And at the end of the session, I ran it by her and was like, yeah, they want me to do this thing. And I feel like it's a distraction, or it's, so polar opposite to where God has me. And she just calmly goes, no, it's not. And I said, what? And she said, no, it's not. She was like, they want you to, teach these kids media. What better person to teach them media than someone who's going to teach them positive media? And as soon as she said it, she kept on talking, but I had checked out the conversation because literally, Linda, I heard God chuckling to me. It was the first time in 51 years I ever heard God chuckle. And he's chuckling. And I finally was like, you got to stop talking. You got to stop talking. And what she showed me that what I'm going to create for this elementary school is the show that I sat on for 15 years, but I'm going to do it from an elementary school perspective. And I said, yo, that is not how I expected this show to be. So to your point, I'm expecting it to come out as a full-blown, like on TV show. And just like that, in that moment, I created this show for elementary school kids, middle school, and it's going to be for kids by kids. They are going to do the show themselves, and I'm going to show. And I'm just like, that's why God was chuckling, because I had just told him about it the day before. And I'm like, yo, you cannot tell me the God that I love and serve is not dope. Because had I not had that conversation with him before, I wouldn't have connected the dots that I'm going to bring it into a different package. You're still going to get what you asked me for, but I'm going to do you one better. Exactly. I'm going to give it so that you actually have a full impact on teaching kids about gratitude and planting seeds in their lives as they go through their lives. I'm going to send you and for you to have an impact on them now. That's how I'm going to have you do the show. And I was just like, yo, that's dope. Yo, that's dope. And so in a matter of a day, I already designed the logo. I know what the program is. I was like, ain't none but God. It just came in a different package.
I love it. I love you talk about him chuckle. And so, I went through that COVID experience, and while I was laying in my bed, because when I first woke up, I couldn't move anything below my neck. Like everything was paralyzed because it had atrophied and whatever. But I'm laying there and I'm thinking, okay, what was this? Because you and I, we cool. So why did I have to go through this?
Yeah.
And he started telling me about things that would be happening, people who I would meet that have these dreams, these long-term dreams, and I'm to help them get seen, get heard, help them get on their feet and all these things. But then in addition to that, I said, well, can I do something that's going to impact lives? Okay. I'm an English major. I love the written word. He put a math class. I teach GED math. I said, this is the biggest joke, because anybody know me, you can go back and check the post. Math is of the devil. That was my hashtag. The very thing that I said was of the devil. I've been teaching it over a year now, helping people get their GEDs. The hardest subject.
God got such a humor, a hilarious humor. Like just crazy sense of humor.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but it is amazing. He is amazing. And
math is of the devil.
I'm like, I'm serious. I promise you, statistics, that thing right there, like I almost didn't get the MBA. I was like, keep the MBA. I can't go through this again.
You can have that. You can have that. I got it. I want no part of that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's obedience. It's being obedient, and it's him, us allowing him to do what he does. He's an amazing God. He's an awesome God. He is the awesome God. Yeah. And so I love your story. I love this experience. I want people to go back, and I want them to contribute to this movement, to help these kids to understand that this vision is bigger than all of us. I want them to understand that I'm introducing you to them because there's a parallel there. Yeah. And I want them to enjoy that parallel and to say yes to it. And so we're getting ready to wrap up, because this has been fun. This has been so fun.
This has been a joy.
This has been so fun, but I have to keep it below an hour so I can push it to Instagram. Yeah. But I want you to, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just say whatever you want to say to whoever you need to say it to, and then I'll be back to get you.
So thank you for, oh wow, she meant like, okay, full screen. I'm supposed to talk to y'all. She just bounced. Well, so it's twofold for me. One, if you resonate with the movement of Move-In Day Mafia, we absolutely could use the help because it's for things that we take for granted. For example, one of the young ladies that we moved in, she has been in foster care her entire life, has 9 siblings where she doesn't know where any of them are. And yet when I asked her for her dream was to find her siblings and help them get an education. And when we revealed her room, it was when I opened her bathroom cabinets and she saw she had a ginormous box of maxi pads that she just lit up. That is where your money and your time will go to, creating things that we take for granted that is a basic need for these babies, a basic need. She knew because she had this box that would last her 2 or 3 months that wasn't money she had to go work for. Her needs were going to be met. Another young lady, we moved in at Fisk University. She went bananas over her room, but it was when she turned to the left and she saw we had bought her stacks of her favorite snack, Kit Kats. It's when she really got emotional over some Kit Kats, something that we don't think about when we're standing in line at the grocery store and the grocery store has done an excellent job of positioning. We just grab it and throw it in with whatever else that we're buying. These are the things that we are doing of providing them their basic needs, because when their basic needs are met, they can thrive. It frees them up for their creativity. It frees them up to enjoy their college experience. So whether it's $1, $100, $1,000, $10,000, we need your help. So please donate at moveindaymafia.org. On the other side of what I do and am creating now, if my League of Extraordinary Waterwalkers resonates with you, we are a collective of water walkers who come together once a week now to spend time with each other, learning, embracing, engaging with each other, supporting each other, because we are a collective of people that believe that we can participate and receive industry shifting miracles, that we are going to create a shift in the world in different industries. That is at League of Extraordinary Waterwalkers.com. We meet Tuesday nights at 8:15 Eastern. The past meeting was our first meeting this last Tuesday. So that meeting is up in our membership portal. We would love to have you if you believe in miracles and are you okay with biblical foundational principles being our foundation. Thank you, Linda, for having me. Thank you for just believing in the mission, and glad to see you back. You just bounced, but believing in the mission, and lending your platform, for us to talk about the things that are important to us, because it is important for me to link up with fellow water walkers, and Absolutely. It is important for me to partner with people who, may just be hearing about the foster care system from this aspect now and want to say, hey, I want to be a part of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug. I just plugged you into Move-In Day Mafia and also the League of Extraordinary Waterwalkers. Lord, here I go. So please tune in next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have another business so we can have business conversations with business people. I hope you enjoy your week. Thank you, TJ, for your yes. And we'll see you next week at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Have a great week, everyone. We love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.